Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for this episode of Soulfood Sundays. My name is Keita. If it's your first time joining me, and if you are a returning viewer, welcome. I am not going to be before y'all long, but I do have a few downloads that I've received about the current energy and how much of what we have going on in our lives individually and collectively is pointing us to be intentional about working with and learning about our lower chakras. The lower chakras being the root chakra, which is considered the first chakra, represented by the color red, the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, which is represented by the color orange, and then the solar plexus, which is represented by the color yellow. And so in working with the lower chakras, starting from the bottom and moving up to the top toward the crown, we're working toward being God-bodied. We're working toward being less earthly focused, and balancing our existence by anchoring ourselves into our 3D reality, feeling safe and secure as an earthly being with the root chakra, and then working our way up to our connection with our higher self, the Holy Spirit, our Ori, as it is known in Yoruba traditions. And so with the lower three chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, that's like being rooted and grounded and moving into a more creative and intimate space, feeling safe and secure enough to do that, and then having the confidence with that solar plexus energy to show it and exude it and embody it, and share it with the world, because that's what we're all here for. We're here to share and pool our gifts and talents and resources in a way that helps uplift one another and raise the vibration of the collective. So that's something that's been coming to me, and as I've been receiving those messages about the root, the solar plexus, the sacral chakra, I've been exploring it in Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Myss. You may be familiar with her and familiar with me talking about her works, as I often use the archetype cards, which she is the creator and author of those, as well as Sacred Contracts, which is the first of her books that I ever read at the beginning of my awakening. And that is how I learned about the houses and astrology and archetypes and chakras, past lives, ascended masters like Muhammad and Jesus, Buddha. That book has a wealth of knowledge, and so does Anatomy of the Spirit. I have a couple more of her books, maybe like 2 more that I can't wait to explore. But yeah, Carolyn Myss is that girl. She has a shit ton of videos, and she has a YouTube channel. If y'all want to check her out outside of her books, she also has a wealth of resources and wisdom that she shares on her YouTube channel. I don't know that lady. This ain't a paid endorsement. She don't know who the fuck I am, but I definitely know who she is, and I'm grateful for how she has shared her knowledge and wisdom as a medical intuitive, and she's doing what she was called to do so that it could help other people do what they're called to do. And so I am playing my part, bringing forth this message, doing what I'm called to do so that I can help others do what it is that they're called to do. I am going to pull some cards, and I'm going to share with you, and I don't even know like what page I'm going to read from. It was one I was reading in the sauna on the sacral chakra, so it may be that one. But yeah, just as you are in reflection, think about where you are on your journey, some of the common themes and threads of what it is that you're experiencing, what you want to experience, and then if you have any knowledge of the chakras. Kind of think of whatever it is you got going on in those terms. And if you don't have any knowledge of the chakras, this is a good way to learn, because you can use what it is that you're currently experiencing and do the research to see what chakra this type of thing is associated with and what might be going on, what's being called forth from me type shit. So yeah, y'all, like I said, I ain't gonna be before you long. I just got back from a vendor event, but felt the urge to go ahead and get this Soulfood Sunday message out for you guys, as I know I got a shit ton of other things on my plate in the coming days and weeks, and so we're gonna get right into it. So the first chakra, being the root chakra, according to Anatomy of the Spirit, is known as where's the page? The tribal. Yeah, the first chakra is the chakra that governs our tribal power, the power that we hold within groups, whether it's family, friendships, work dynamics. Groups are considered 2 or more, and so like exploring how those dynamics affect you, how you show up in them, how you affect them, your position, their position, what type of people you attracting. Do they have a positive effect or a negative effect on you? Is it genuine, or is it a lot of fake shit? Are they supportive? Are you supportive? Are you holding on to group dynamics that you need to release? Do you desire to have higher quality group dynamics? Are there things that are positive within your group dynamic that you want to share with other people or leverage in some way? So there's a lot to consider when it comes to the root chakra. The chapter on the root chakra covers tribal culture and the energy consequences of belief patterns, because believe it or not, you share similar belief patterns to whatever group you belong to, and for many of us, you belong to more than one group. So it's important to, again, assess and pay attention to and be aware and conscious of how group dynamics affect you consciously, and the consequences of the energy of those belief patterns. It covers the challenges of toxic tribal power, specific to loyalty and honor and justice. And then at the end of the chapter, there are some questions for self-examination. So I'm going to share those with y'all before we move on to the sacral chakra. And the questions for self-examination for the first chakra, which is your root, is: what belief patterns did you inherit from your family? Which of those belief patterns that still have authority in your thinking can you acknowledge are no longer valid? What superstitions do you have which have more authority over you than over your own reasoning ability? Y'all, it's so much that we carry from the groups that we're a part of that if we don't pay attention to it, we like really not conscious of it, but it governs how we show up in the world. It governs how we make decisions. It governs how we move, right? And I remember being in therapy and my therapist asking me to write on this wheel of the 5 people who I feel like I'm the closest to. And I wrote one of my relatives, a friend, 2 of my friends, a co-worker that I talked to the most when I was at work. I mean, considering that I spent 8 hours a day at work, I felt like it was important to include the person I was closest to at work, even if I didn't really consider her a friend. And it was one other person. I remember 4 out of the 5, but all I could tell you is that I don't talk to none of them. Not the family member, not the friends, like nobody. Because the codependent place I was and at that point and stage in my life, they contributed to in some way or another. And they either contributed to it and aided and abetted or influenced it, or they just didn't help it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to being codependent, I was down bad out here. I was people pleasing my ass off. But over several years after that, I'd say 2 or 3 maybe, after that, they started falling off like flies. Like, because the more I stepped into who I am authentically, the more I was intentional about my healing and went deep, the more I could no longer hide or mask the way I really felt about these people. And so those things, I couldn't wear the mask no more. Like, my mask was just, it was slipping off to the point where I just snatched the motherfucker off. Like, fuck it, I can't. Like, no matter how hard I try, the shit just bothers me on a so deep level to play this role. You know what I'm saying? I gotta call a thing, or I can't be a part of this type shit. And then I had come to the reality that a lot of my beliefs, like if I was being true to myself, didn't align with their beliefs, and that they would not respect my beliefs, and so therefore we could not continue in our relationships in whatever capacity that they were in. So just being honest with myself, right? And so for many of you, that is the call in terms of healing and working with and being intentional about healing your root chakra. So those 3 questions for self-examination that I shared, you can go back and rewind and write them down and use them as journal prompts. But there are like 10 of them at the end of the root chakra chapter. I really advise y'all get this book. Again, it doesn't benefit me for you to get the book. I don't get a dime. But it's a great resource. Like, as I'm going through it for the first time, it's helping me to deepen my knowledge of the chakras and how it applies as I'm working with clients, as well as my own personal shadow work for myself. The second chakra, the sacral chakra. Most people, when you think sacral chakra, you instantly think sex. And that's a huge part of the sacral chakra, but it's not all. It is too. Sacral chakra energy. The sacral chakra is known as the energy center that governs the power of relationships. So you got that tribal power with the root chakra, which is about relationships as well in groups. But with the second chakra is more about partnership, which that's between 2 people, right? So I am going to read the first 2 pages, because the first page is almost like a half a page, just to give you an idea of the information that's provided here, and it may resonate with some of you. Feel free to get down in the comment section below to share your thoughts and how this information may resonate with you, or if something stands out. But she says the second chakra is the partnership chakra. Its energy begins to pulsate and become distinct around the age of 7. So think back to where you were at 7 years old. If you can remember any details about being 7, what do you remember about it? I know for me at 7, that's when I got the scar on my face. I think it's on this side. Yeah. When I got this, I had an accident and had to have plastic surgery. And it was on a Friday the 13th, the day of the Divine Feminine. When I was in 2nd grade at 7 years old, and changed my life. Changed my life. But it says at that age, children start interacting with other children and adults more independently of their parents and outside the home environment. Through these initial interactions, they begin to individuate, form relationships, and explore their power of choice. With the second chakra, energy shifts from obeying tribal authority to discovering other relationships that satisfy personal physical needs. So not going along with what would appease the crowd, but moving from the root chakra going along with whatever the tribe got going on, or doing whatever you feel like you need to do to feel safe and secure in the tribe, to actually going outside of the tribe to do what it is that personally makes you happy, that personally brings you fulfillment, that personally allows you a creative outlet or expression or some form of intimacy. So it says, through these initial interactions, they begin to individuate, form relationships, and explore their power of choice. With the second chakra, energy shifts from obeying tribal authority to discovering other relationships that satisfy personal physical needs. Still a lower chakra energy that pushes us toward relating to external forces. The second chakra is a powerful force. It's located in the lower abdomen, from the lower abdomen to the navel area. The energy connection to the physical bodies, the sexual organs, the large intestine, the lower vertebrae, pelvis, hip area, appendix, and bladder. The energy connection to the emotional, mental body. This chakra resonates to our need for relationships with other people and our need to control, to some extent, the dynamics of our physical environment. All the attachments by which we maintain control over our external lives, such as authority, other people, or money, are linked through this chakra to our energy field and physical body. I'm gonna skip that part and go to the symbolic perceptual connection. It says the energy in this chakra enables us to generate a sense of personal identity and protective psychological boundaries. As we continually assess our personal strength in regard to the external world and its physically seductive forces such as sex, money, addictive substances, or other people, the second chakra energy of a healthy physical ego keeps us able to interact with the world without having to negotiate or sell ourselves. It is the energy of self-sufficiency, a survival instinct for being in the world. So being self-sufficient, not being codependent on the tribe, going out here and getting what it is that we need on a soul deep level, and not prostituting ourselves, not selling ourselves out because we're trying to impress or appease or avoid conflict within the tribe. The second chakra is aligned to the sephira of your side. We're talking about a branch of the tree of life in the Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, Jewish esoteric, Jewish spirituality. All of the religions have a branch of spirituality. But it says this partnership chakra also holds the energy of covenants. This partnership chakra, this procreative energy, is both biological and spiritual. We desire to create children and also to bring our creative ideas into physical form, which is as crucial to our physical health as to our spiritual. When you don't acknowledge, fulfill, invest in that which you desire to bring into fruition, you create dis-ease within your body. And that is why so many men and women get prostate and ovarian cancer, because that very space that houses the energy of giving birth, creating the sexual energy, creative energy, when it's not expressed, when it's not manifest, it just feeds on the host, and it's parasitic, and it becomes disease in the body, and it shows up as cancer because it's feeding off of the body, where birth was supposed to take place in some way, not necessarily a person, but for some, especially those who desire to have children, and just the idea of the thought of the energy of not fulfilling what it is that your soul desires to fulfill, or what you were sent here to create, and the prophecy that you were meant to fulfill, creates depression mentally and sickness physically. It says the sacrament of communion, resonates to the energy of this chakra and symbolizes bonds we form with people. Communions of many types are symbolized by the act of sharing bread together. Never underestimate the importance, the sacredness of breaking bread with people. I know I don't sit down and break bread with people that I don't care for. Ain't gonna do it. I never forget I was on a trip, and this girl who it was a group of us in the house, and this girl who had swore the night before she wanted to whoop my ass over this dude, woke up the next day and cooked everybody breakfast. And they had a place set for me, a mimosa fixed for me. Baby, I must have fixed me a cup of apple juice and grabbed a banana and sat my ass on the couch. No, ma'am. I will not be breaking bread with this bitch. And she just declared war on my ass last night. Her behavior, she didn't ever apologize, but her behavior was as though she didn't want no smoke the next day. And they couldn't understand why my response was what it was, because it was like, shit, she clearly don't want no smoke no more. So why don't you just fall in line? And I'm just like, yeah, nah, I don't play them bullshit games. Like, she ain't like me last night. If she don't like me today. The energy with which she cooked that food with was that energy of she don't fuck with me. I'm about to take that into my vessel. Hell no. No, not consciously. I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna sit and break bread with her. So it's like very important and very sacred who you spend your time with, who you invest your time and energy with, who you give your body to, and who you break bread with. Keep that in mind. But that's the energy of the sacral chakra and what we're needing to explore that's coming up. So I'm going to skip to the questions so that we can get into that. But know that the sacral chakra, when you're working on your sacral chakra, that's where you house your power of choice and the challenge of managing your creative energy, because that's not the easiest thing to do for some, especially depending upon where you are on your journey. For those of you who might be experiencing a Kundalini awakening, you may really resonate with this energy of working on your sacral chakra. And note that your creative energy and your sexual energy is the same thing. When you're working with your sacral chakra, it's important to note that the sacral chakra is all about how we honor one another, be it how we share our creative gifts, how we open up vulnerably, experiencing intimacy with one another, whether it's just a private conversation or a moment of laughter or actual physical intimacy, sex, a bath together. It's a million ways you can be intimate. You can be intimate having a cup of tea together. But however we do that, we honor one another. We honor one another, and even when we're not around each other, and how we speak of each other, and how we allow other people to speak of our people, and things like that. So it's important to take that into consideration as well. The energy of money is relative to the sacral chakra. Also, what else we talking about here? Ethics. Personal power. So the questions for self-examination are, how do you define creativity? Do you consider yourself a creative person? Do you follow through on your creative ideas? If you struggle with any of that, that is pointing you to working on your sacral chakra. One crystal that I work with a lot when I'm intentional about working with my sacral chakra is carnelian. I love carnelian. And also orange calcite is good for working with your sacral chakra. Another question is, how often do you direct your creative energies into negative paths of expression? Some of you are creative as fuck, and you turn around and you give your creative energy, your seed, your time, your attention, your body, your energy, your passion to somebody or something that will not appreciate it, that will not yield positive fruit, and it goes to waste. You know what I'm saying? Do you exaggerate or embellish facts to support your point of view? Do you be putting a little sauce on it when you're trying to get your point across? Are you comfortable with your sexuality? If not, are you able to work toward healing your sexual imbalances? Do you use people for sexual pleasure, or have you felt used? Are you strong enough to honor your sexual boundaries? Some of you don't even have sexual boundaries. It's whatever. And anybody who want it can get it. When they want it, how they want it. That's not a healthy way to live. And if you value your sexual and creative energy, you will begin to create, communicate, and enforce healthy sexual boundaries. That's why cheating's a no-go for me. You cheat on me, nigga, that's sexual abuse. Like, if I share my sexual energy with me, not to say I ain't never accepted being cheated on before, because that would be a whole lie, right? But at this point on my journey, cheating, lying, going outside of whatever covenant we have verbalized and made to share yourself sexually with another being is a violation of my sexual boundaries. Because you're going to turn around and go get that person's cells and juices and everything else on you, energy, soul tie, all that, and then come and give it to me. Yeah, nah, I'm straight. But different strokes for different folks. Some people may not look at it that way, and that's fine. But I like to have a good understanding of what it is, right? Are you comfortable with your sexuality? Let's go back to that one. Because a lot of people are not. Even in this day and age where people are made to be more comfortable. Like, it's on TV and it's more acceptable to be more sexually expressive in public, and regardless of your gender, right? Or if you're homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, if you're anywhere on the LGBTQ IA plus spectrum, things have advanced in terms of acceptability. People are out more, but there's still a lot of people, especially men, that are closeted about their fluidity and their attraction to other men. Me personally, I don't see shit wrong with it. I think a lot more men are sexually fluid than they admit because of the stigma that comes along with it. I think a lot of men have been sexually abused and violated in some way and don't speak up and get the healing that they need because of the way it's automatically assumed that you're gay. I think there's a lot that comes along with people's sexual narrative that contributes to dishonesty and not being authentic when it comes to their sexuality, whether it's what they choose or whether they something was forced, a sexual encounter was forced on them. There's a myriad of facets of sexuality, and a lot of it is closeted, and so your sacral chakra is going to call you to confront those things, and hopefully you can find people that you're comfortable with confronting those things with. But those are some of the things. And then you have your third chakra, which governs your personal power, and that is the solar plexus, your inner sun, the sunshine that is within you, and that governs your confidence, your optimism, your life force energy, your vitality. So it says here that the third chakra energy, the energy of the personal power chakra, becomes the dominant vibration in our development during puberty. It assists us further in the process of individuation, of forming a self, ego, and personality separate from our inherited identity. Your sun sign will speak heavily to your sacral chakra as well. Your internal sun, where the sun was when you were born, will coincide with your solar plexus energy. The third chakra completes the physical trilogy of the human energy system. Like chakras 1 and 2, it primarily relates to a physical form of power, where the first chakra resonates to group or tribal power, and where the second chakra resonates to the flow of power between the self and others. The third chakra relates to our personal power in relation to the external world. The solar plexus is connected to the stomach, pancreas, adrenals, upper intestines, gallbladder, liver, and the middle spine located behind the solar plexus. If you have issues with your liver, one thing I know for sure is that shows up on your skin, and it points you to some dysfunction with your solar plexus. So it's good to pay attention to your liver health, your gallbladder, in your stomach, your digestive health. All of that is relative to your solar plexus. A lot of times people, I learned this from this retreat I went to with Iyanla, and she talked about how this girl had been padding, because she could tell that the girl had been padding, which is like eating to make her feel safe, because she carried all of her weight in her stomach area. And she was saying how that points to some dysfunction of the solar plexus, the confidence and the life force energy. So yeah, the solar plexus points to developing your self-esteem, enhancing your inner power, not seeking power externally, or even exerting or trying to show external or physical power, money as power, but like your internal strength, your internal power, something that's not tangible and is you can't put a dollar amount on it. You know what I'm saying? And then it talks about the 4 stages of personal power. Stage 1 being revolution. Stage 2, involution. Stage 3 is narcissism. And stage 4 is evolution. And then it goes on to talk about the challenges of the journey. And there are questions for self-examination at the end of this chapter as well. Do you like yourself? Some people, if you answer that question honestly, it's a no. If not, what don't you like about yourself and why? I remember being in a relationship with a guy and telling him that with him, I noticed, and this was on the tail end of that relationship too. I was like, I don't like who I am with you. Like, I look in the mirror, I don't like me. That was monumental for me making that shift out of that relationship, because prior to getting in that relationship, I had gotten in like the best state I had ever been in of like loving on me and liking me and investing in me. And then God sent that relationship in to show me a deeper level of where now you don't really fuck with yourself like you think you do. When it comes to these niggas, no you don't. Let me show you. You got a little coin, you got a little freedom, and you out here indulging and treating yourself and having a good time. You napping, you self-caring your ass off. But when it come to these men and this is the external validation, let me show you. And then he sent the motherfucking Grim Reaper of boyfriends who did everything but fucking kill me. He didn't sexually assault me. He was sexually abusive in terms of cheating. But he never sexually assaulted me. And of course, I'm still here, so that he didn't kill me. He didn't put his hands on me, but he was verbally abusive. But I share all of that just to say that your solar plexus governs your esteem and how you feel about yourself, and life lessons will come along to be a mirror. Your relationships are mirrors, and so these people will mirror to you whether you give a fuck about yourself or not. So when you look at the people who you have in your life and what they bring to the table and their behavior and how they treat you, and how does that speak to how you care about yourself and how you love yourself and how you hold yourself in high regard, or whether or not you even like yourself? Because people who don't like themselves put up with dumb shit. Are you actively working to change the things about yourself that you don't like? Are you honest? Do you sometimes misrepresent the truth? If so, why? Why you lying? Why you feel the need to lie? Who gonna whoop your ass if you tell the truth? What are the consequences of you telling the truth? Are you critical of others? Do you need to blame others as a way of protecting yourself? Do you pass the buck, or do you own your shit? So those are some things that you guys can be focusing on as you are experiencing different corners, obstacles, things along your journey. I am going to be pulling from, I don't even know the name of this deck, but my homegirl Pam created it. And I'm going to put the link below if I could find a link to where you can get them. I have wanted these cards for years, and I finally got the opportunity to get them. It's a deck of oracle cards. And we're just going to get a message that speaks to the collective about what you need to do. Keep going. All of heaven is supporting you. Supportive. All of heaven and earth is rooting for you. Do not stop. Keep going. Yes, you are being called to take an assessment of your earthly, those chakras, your lower chakras that govern your earthly experience. But don't stop there. Keep going. Whatever challenges you're encountering, it's not meant for you to stop. It's not going to kill you. It's literally that thing that what don't kill you makes you stronger. And for some of you, your strength is in your softness, in your ability to not use brute force or physical force or your words to hurt and harm, but just to move forward in silence and do you, to make better choices for yourself, to be more of an individual. So on your path of your journey of individuation, you're being encouraged to keep going. At the top of the deck, yo, I can't make this shit up. Encouraging. You are not alone. Find your tribe. For many of you, this exploration of your lower chakras is going to lead you to the conclusion that the people you've been investing your time and energy to in this chapter of your life, those are not your people anymore. For some of you, they never were your people. They were just meant to be your mirror at that time. And now that time has expired and it's time to move on. You will find your tribe. You are not alone. And you are being encouraged to keep going. Support is already here. It's already here for you. Your vote has great power at the bottom of the deck. Use it. Your opinions, your thoughts, your desires, your narrative, your dreams, your calling matters. Your vote. It might not matter in this fucking system that we live in, the governmental branches, the judicial system and all that. It might not count there. But in the court of divine justice, your opinions, your choices, your decisions matter. Use your power and your freedom of choice. Ambition. This Pam, y'all. Ain't she cute? This is calling you to let your ambitions lead you. Whatever it is you're being led to do, know that you're safe, secure, supported in doing it. So I hope this message found y'all well. If it did not find you well, I hope that it leaves you well. I had no intention of this fucking reading being this long. But since it is, I bid y'all farewell. If you have questions or would like a personal reading, feel free to email me at turquoisemajesty@gmail.com, or you can book via my Etsy site for online readings. And yeah, y'all, until next time, peace.